So today, lads, we are going to be talking a little bit about the entire situation with Dewanna Bonner and Amber Cox's response to that. So obviously Amber Cox is she is the GM. I don't know exactly if she's in charge of basketball decisions. It seems like from everything that the Indiana Fever have said, it seems like Kelly Krauskopf, I'm still struggling to pronounce her name. It seems as though she is the main basketball decision maker. And look, at the end of the day, that is it is what it is. It is what it is. And if she's the main basketball decision maker and Amber Cox is there just for kind of marketing things, like at the end of the day, they're both in charge, and they were both in charge of putting together this weird roster. Really this weird roster. And I have to say, like, obviously, look, it seems like they didn't have scouts overseas. It seems like the front office was just a disaster all around. But here is her response. And this is a video from Tony East. I'm just going to be showing this clip. And obviously he has full interviews with Stephanie White, and he has full interviews with Amber Cox on his YouTube page and on his Twitter. So if you guys want to see the full interviews, go check them. And we are just going to be reacting and responding and giving my opinion to this small piece of it. So anyway, let's go.
Yeah. Do you kind of detail? I think she talked about how it didn't exactly go how she wanted in that. What exactly that entailed for you guys and her?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Dewanna's a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, and one of the best that's ever played our game. We were really excited when she decided to come here in the off season.
I mean, so was everybody, to be fair. So was everybody. And I do think that was a signing that was made more of a look, see who we can get, rather than look, see, is she going to fit? I think that was more of an ego. I think that and the Natasha Howard and everything. And I have a feeling that because it was a bit later, I have a feeling that Dewanna Bonner maybe didn't sign up until they got Natasha Howard. And I think that they really did miss the mark on a lot of their signings. I still think Sophie Cunningham wasn't a bad signing, but in hindsight, would you rather have picked number 8 or Sophie Cunningham? I would rather have. I don't think there's that. I think Natasha Howard is better than Alyssa Smith. I don't think it's by much. I do think she is a better version of what Alyssa Smith brings. And I would have rather had Sanaya Rivers and Alyssa Smith. Sanaya Rivers and Alyssa Smith than... And I still think there was a way to get Sophie without giving up pick 8, to be honest.
And, as we got into the season, she just expressed that she didn't feel like it was a good fit for her. We talked through that. We had conversations. Obviously, we made some adjustments to lineup, some of the things we were doing. And we just couldn't get it to a place where, it felt good for her. And, so as we got further along in the process, we explored trade options. And then just, it's pretty early in the season, given the level of Dewanna's contract, we just couldn't find something suitable. So at the end of the day, we respect her status.
Let's be real. Nobody wanted her. Nobody wanted her. The Fever, it is crazy. I wonder how many teams were willing to offer the max in hindsight. I wonder how many teams are actually willing to offer the max when it was just a Fever.
As a veteran in this league, we had the opportunity to bring Aerie back around the timing with the 10-day wait period. So we just felt like it was best for all parties to part ways. Wish her nothing but the best. Sorry it didn't work out, but we move on. And we're excited about the team that we have on the court. And yeah.
The decision to have her not be with you guys was listed as personal reasons. Was that a team decision or was that a Bonner thing? Both? How exactly would you characterize that?
Yeah, I think as we were going through the process, it just felt better for her to step away,
I mean, I highly doubt that it was a team call, by the way. I highly doubt, I'm sorry. I highly doubt she was a locker room. I don't think she was a locker room cancer. Unless, the only way the team would tell her to step away is if she was a locker room cancer. Because it's not like the NBA where they're tanking. If this team was tanking and they were like, look, just go, chill at home, it's one thing. But, right now, it's just a crazy situation. There's no way that a team looking to win every single game is out there telling a player, you know, nah, you don't need, like, don't play, don't show up, don't practice. Like, there's a vet, Bree Turner's a vet, unless they thought she was going to, the only way the team would say it is if they thought she was going to be a locker room cancer, which I have no question that Dewanna Bonner was not that, or maybe she would be, I don't know.
Again, as we were sorting through what it was going to look like, you know, if it could be a return, exploring a trade, you know, again, it wasn't a decision that any.
If there could be a return. So they were trying to get her back. So it's clear they were trying to get her back.
Of us made lightly. So it was a lot of conversations. And again, as we got into that process of exploring a trade, and we knew it likely was not going to be something that was going to last the duration of the season, we gave her that opportunity to step away.
We gave her the opportunity to step away. Yeah, it sounds like it was a Dewanna situation. It does sound like it was the Dewanna situation. And from Tony East, this is the guy who has the clip. Again, he's you can look him up on YouTube. I think he's a Pacers and Fever journalist who's been posting a lot of things. He said, try to get to the bottom of that a bit with this question. Have to make some assumptions, but based on answers today, seems like both parties were involved in the decision. That said, logic would dictate that they would prefer the 2024 All-Star they just signed would play. Yeah.
You kind of detail.
I agree with that. I think there's no way that a team would choose not. And by the way, again, thank you to all the Fever journalists, by the way. Thank you to all the Fever journalists. Like, it's like proper journalism. And thanks, like, even if we don't like the answers, I do like the fact that the Indiana Fever seems to be answering questions. Like, a lot of organizations just don't really answer questions. But at least when it comes to Indiana Fever, they are. Like, they are out here answering questions, which is a positive thing. But yeah, that is something that I do think is a big one. I do think is a genuinely big thing to see. Because again, the WNBA journalism, the level of journalism is just horrendous. But at least when it comes to reporters, you're now seeing a lot of the same NBA reporters. And look, you can have your problems with NBA journalism completely, but like at least they, they are journalists to get it. Well, they're proper journalists to get into that spot. But yeah, not the responses you want to hear. I do think it sounds more like they were trying to get something to work. Dewanna Bonner was just having none of it, and maybe they both mutually just said, you know what, it's better to not have you here than have you sulking. And that's what I'm thinking. The only situation where maybe the team said to step away is if they feared that she was going to cause a rift in the locker room. Maybe it could have been a case where, like, it could be a two sides in the locker room thing, where like half the locker room were on Dewanna's side, half of them were on a different side, like about the style of play and everything. And like, let's be real, these players, we heard it from Sophie Cunningham, these players were promised these players were promised this free flowing motion offense when they signed. They were. And at the end of the day, I think Caitlin Clark could work in a motion offense. The problem is that Kelsey Mitchell can't work in a motion offense. Aaliyah can work in a motion offense, but the problem with a motion offense is that a lot of the time it requires nobody to have egos. It requires an entire egoless team, and it requires players that don't need volume touches. And the Indiana Fever have Aaliyah Boston, who needs volume touches. They have Caitlin Clark, who needs volume touches, and they need Kelsey Mitchell, who does dumb shit when she has the ball a lot. So it is a whole bunch of players that you either need people with no volume touches, and every single player has to be comfortable playmaking, and they just don't have the personnel for it. Natasha Howard needs volume touches. They don't have the personnel, and they were obviously promised something. And look, I would say there were probably promises that were given, that were made that Dewanna Bonner didn't, that the Fever didn't, live up to. I'd say they didn't live up to their end. But at the end of the day, showing up to work is a thing. And for the team, if the team were the ones that said, "Nah, we don't want you to stay," it must have been a huge thing. It must have been a massive, massive thing that like she must have really, really pissed off some players in the locker room, or Steph White must have just not want to deal with her anymore. Like, it must have been bad if the team tells you to step away while on a max contract for 1 year on a team that's winning.